MMA Forum Vietnam today. Lời đầu tiên tôi xin thay mặt MMA Việt Nam xin gửi lời cảm ơn chân thành và lời chào trân trọng nhất với tất cả các vị đang có mặt trong khán phòng ngày hôm nay. Với sứ mệnh xây dựng mobile trở thành một phần không thể thiếu của Marketing Mix, MMA chúng tôi cùng với tất cả các vị diễn giả đã chọn lọc và tin chắc sẽ mang đến những chia sẻ, những kiến thức mang tính chất thực tiễn nhằm giúp cho tất cả quý vị ngày hôm nay chúng ta có được những thông tin bổ ích về thị trường mobile marketing tại Việt Nam. Và sự thành công của diễn đàn mobile marketing ngày hôm nay chắc chắn không thể thiếu sự hỗ trợ rất đắc lực từ tất cả các diễn giả, ban cố vấn, những nhà tài trợ, những đối tác hỗ trợ, support partners, những đối tác truyền thông cùng với tất cả các bạn. Và chúng ta đã nỗ lực rất nhiều cho sự thành công ngày hôm nay. Chúng tôi thật sự rất biết ơn tất cả các bạn đã tham gia, đã dành thời gian và đã cùng với chúng tôi xây dựng sự thành công của Hội nghị Mobile Marketing 2014. Và chắc chắn trong suốt quá trình diễn ra sự kiện sẽ không có thể có những cái thiếu sót. Chúng tôi rất mong là tất cả quý vị chúng ta sẽ bỏ qua và cùng với MMA trong những hoạt động tiếp theo. Và kính chúc tất cả quý vị chúng ta sẽ có một ngày hội nghị thật là hiệu quả. Thank you and have a great day. And right now, may I have a GreenHat. He's the managing director of MAS Investment. Come on, Stat, have a few words with all of you. Thank you and welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure to have the third edition of MMA Forum in Vietnam. We started MMA 3 years back and it's a resounding success. We've got over 25 members, including a few founding members who are all present in the room. And the turnout here gives me immense pleasure to see that a country, an emerging market like Vietnam, has so much potential in mobile and they are exploring every bit of that. We've also this year, for the first time, announced the MMA Smarties in Vietnam. We had the jury meeting and we had the entries. We had close to about 100 entries. And in the evening, we'll all be celebrating, awarding the best of the best campaigns from Vietnam. Globally, we've been doing Smarties for 10 years, and this was the first year that we did Smarties in Vietnam. And I must admit to you that we got more entries and better work than we expected between the jury and all of us, and we were very proud to see that there was so much work that is happening in market with close to about 100 entries, and I'm sure there was a lot more work that was being done which may not have entered, and hopefully we will have a lot more of that coming in next year. I also wanted to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors. Events like these, association events, are not possible without their cooperation. Our presenting sponsors, Visa, our premier partner, Goldson Focus Media, and a special note of thanks to Goldson because they have been supporting us with our initial investments in the marketplace for 3 years. They've also been helping us lay the foundation in Vietnam and also set the operations up. So a special note of thanks to them. Our silver sponsors, Out There Media, Videology, Trace Mobi, and Thelium as our other sponsors. It is with their support and effort that we can pull events like this and have all my timer is working now. This was not meant for me. This was meant for Tam. But events like these where we are trying to evangelize the medium, which we believe, I personally believe, is going to be the medium of the future. It is not the only medium, but it is a very important medium. Mobile, as we move forward, is going to play a critical role in advertising and marketing. And we already started to see a lot of that happening in the western part of the world, but it's also very important to see what role it has in an emerging market like Vietnam. And when we were going through some of the jury entries and some of the work and some of the discussions that we've had in the last year, we've seen for example, the challenge of addressing the rural market in a market like Vietnam is actually getting addressed with mobile. We have a lot of brands participating. Over 30 brands participated at our Smarties, and I'm sure a lot more are there in the room today, along with the agencies and the solution providers. It's also very important to understand, while this is a medium, but what needs to be done to help improve the medium. And what we have today arranged as part of the forum is an agenda where we have speakers both locally and from the region and international markets to help you understand what really is happening with mobile, how mobile advertising and marketing is playing a role, whether it's singular role or in a multicultural environment or even in a broader marketing mix. And we have the speakers lined up who have taken a lot of time and effort to help put together this. So we would really like to thank them to take their time, especially fly in and take their time to address you. And most importantly, I think a big thank you to all of you for being in the room, because it's people like you who make an industry by coming together, trying to put our minds together to help understand what are the challenges and what needs to be done. So I won't take a lot of time. I will also be your host for the morning session, and I will introduce all the speakers. My request to the speakers is if they can maintain the time limit that's been allocated to them, so that we can keep moving the program as we move forward. So with that, again, a very warm welcome, and thank you to all of you for being here. So our first speaker, now I'm wearing my hat of the host for the morning session. Our first speaker is Ms. Tran Thuy Tri. She's the Vice President Personal Care for Unilever Vietnam, and she's going to give us her thoughts of what is it that's happening with mobile industry, how the mobile to mobility, wearables, nearables, etc. is impacting, and a big marketer like Unilever, how are they looking at addressing this world, how they're looking at making sure that mobile becomes an integral part of their marketing mix. They've done wonderful work across other markets and also here, and we would like to have Tri on stage to share with us their experiences and her personal experiences of the importance of mobile. So can I have Ms. Tri here?
Good morning, everyone. It is a great honor for me to be here standing in front of you to be the first speaker of the second MMA in Vietnam. As the first speaker of the event today, I would like to share with you an interesting and humorous video which I found on YouTube. I think this will set the context for the day and why we are all here today. So please, let's watch the video first. explain to you why you have to spend the whole day today to be here. So today I'm here, I'm not trying to pitch to you or to wow to you any facts or data about why mobile marketing is so important, because you are all the convert already. What I'm doing today is just to share with you what we at Unilever are trying to explore, and hopefully we can give you some food for thoughts about mobile marketing. So before I start, just in case you know where I'm from Unilever, and we are about mass FMCG company. We are serving almost 2 billion consumers a day in 190 countries. And Vietnam, we are actually the largest laundry, soap, household cleanser, shampoo. So either you're washing your clothes with Omo, shampoo your hair with Dove, cleaning your kitchen with Sip, we are all there. And we all want to make your life a little bit better. What I want to share today is the topic about from mobile to mobility and to mobilization. What do I mean? And let me explain. Mobile is about how we simply use the mobile device, the technology, to reach the consumer. Nowadays, consumers wake up and go to sleep with mobile. And actually there's a research saying that in the US, consumers spend 2.5 hours a day with mobile. And one smartphone user actually looking at their smartphone 150 times a day. That is how you see the consumer engaging and spending time with mobile, and how we can leverage this mobile to reach the consumer. And this is something I believe that in Vietnam and around the world we have done a lot of that. Let me share with you one example we are doing with Unilever Vietnam North, using mobile as a way to reach our consumer. Can you please show the video, please? very clear what we are doing to reach the consumer, and I believe this is something that we've done a lot across the industry. But I think the industry has evolved. Using mobile as a device is the first step. How we move to the next step? The consumer nowadays don't use the mobile phone to read SMS, reading emails anymore. They actually using a mobile to pay the bank. They check in, they share information on the social network, And actually the mobile now becomes an accessory. It's no longer just a mobile for communication. And how our marketing evolved with the lifestyle. And this brings me to the concept of what we call moving from mobile to mobility. How we transform mobile from a device to an accessory. Recognizing the consumer wants to do shopping on the mobile. How when we make mobile become an m-commerce. This is an example that we do in Vietnam. We've done this a lot around the world, but in Vietnam at Unilever we've tried. One example on how we can make mobile no longer becomes a device, but becoming a behavior and lifestyle that is culturally contextual, meaning it is relevant to their lifestyle. Clear is an example that we have tried that. Recognizing that Vietnamese youngsters like to travel, and when they travel, they would like to take the pictures, they like to check in, and they're looking for ways to do it on the go. Instead of going to the web, what we created is creating a mobile apps. For them, when they go explore the country, they can check in their favorite place. Clear, as a brand, we want to build a brand love with the consumer, especially in the summer. And summer is exactly the time that consumer wants to travel, enjoy the summer. And this we find a very good common connection between the brands and the consumer lifestyle. So we create this app so consumer can check, and this app has becoming so successful as being one of the top apps for travel in Vietnam that people download. So let me show you the video about this.
Clear believes a flaw is an imperfection, one that can be corrected. Vietnam's youth were finding such flaws in their country. To correct it, Clear flagged off a project named My Cool Vietnam. A special team of Clear Cool Hunters set off to redraw the old map, but with a twist. The new map would be seen through the eyes of the young, to shift their focus from the flaws to the beauty of the nation. To make it interesting, we used a combination of Google Maps, geotagging, and visual posting technology and created a smartphone app. Did we just say an app would create a map? Using the app, the Cool Hunters explored the 1,650 kilometers of the nation, discovering 150 beautiful new places that did not exist on the travel map. This caught the attention of our target, raising interest and conversations on social networks. As this new Vietnam was being mapped, a renewed sense of pride took shape. To drive popularity, Clear collaborated with a youth icon to create the My Cool Vietnam anthem. With over 3 million published views and hundreds of user-generated versions, the song was a hit on TV, online, and social medias. Only then did we release the My Cool Vietnam app for public download. All this buzz helped the app to get the #1 spot on the travel section of the Apple App Store and Google Play, beating out the likes of Agoda and even the national airline. The campaign goal was to give Vietnam 250 new destinations to be proud of, exceeding all expectations. The campaign helped to discover 3,000 unique spots, getting the nod from the Ministry of Tourism. Vietnam, proud.
The adaptation of consumer about mobile has gone so fast, it's really leapfrog. The research shows that it took only 1/3 of the time for the people to adopt mobile apps versus a desktop computing. Microsoft took 12 to 15 times to deliver 96% penetration of their Microsoft software. But Android and iOS took only 5 years to adopt apps penetration, achieve almost the same penetration. So this is where the market is ready for mobility. From mobility, we also have this example that I want to share very quickly as well before I move to the last one about mobilization. Vietnam, in the context that 70% of our population is rural. So aside from the apps and everything, we also have to think of ideas to reach out people in the rural. We have this idea that we actually tried in the Mekong Delta of Vietnam. We call the happiness operator. We know that the rural consumer is looking for ways to lighten up their monotonous life on the go, you know, when they're not at home, because they're working in the field and everything. And we know that the penetration of mobile phone is already very high. We want to look for ways to give them entertainment outside of their home. So we're thinking of the mobile phone entertainment. Now, but there's a catch that they don't have smartphone because the majority of the phone in rural area is feature phone. So what we are doing is we're creating this operator happiness. We give them a number on the pack of our products. The consumer can give a missed call to our operator, and they will receive a call from Hoài Linh, who is a very famous comedian, and he's gonna tell them, you know, interesting comedy stories narrated from him, and this is all free of charge. And this is really well accepted and received by the consumer. We launched it within 1 month and exists all the KPI that we set. So this is another example that I like to share with you how we moving into mobility from urban consumer to even rural consumer. The last I want to talk about is mobilization. From mobile, mobility accessory to mobilization. How can we use a mobile platform to turn the products into big platform that can mobilize people for a better cause, for a better life? So we have an example. We haven't done this yet in Vietnam, but this is an example that we've done outside of Vietnam. We have a project called Project Sunlight. So Project Sunlight in Unilever is aimed to motivate the people to live sustainably by inspiring them to create a brighter future. So what we're doing is we're working with different key partners, key stakeholders. We're creating a platform that converting all the living sustainability of major brand of Unilever into a one single global platform. And we create this anthem, which I'm going to show you this. And this anthem was actually pushed at the same time from the sunrise from Indonesia to India to UK to Brazil and finally in the US through a one central command. And we're using always on thinking, you know, publishing real time so that we can manage the conversation and engaging with the consumer at once. And spread the idea to mobilize the people for a better future of children. So let me show you this video. Vietnam industry can do more. We have done a lot of great mobile as a device. Mobility, a lot of example. Of course, there's a lot of room and space to improve and expand. Mobilization is where we think we need to do more. To catch up with the world of mobile marketing, to put Vietnam into the global map of mobile marketing. And we believe all of you, the great audience here, the mobile marketing evangelists, can work together to foster this great partnership for a great mobilization of mobile marketing. So I hope I have been able to share with you some food for thought about mobile marketing. Believe this mobile marketing will definitely transform the way we build great brands in the future. It brings disruptive into the market. In the future, we no longer will talk only about mobile, social, and data, but we will be talking about mobile, visual, and personal. This is, I believe, truly what is needed to transform the way we build great brands. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sri. That was really insightful. Some of the comments that you made, consumers are ahead of the curve, and that's not only true with regard to mobility in urban markets or rural markets. That is actually the next generation. Consumers are definitely ahead, whether it's adoption of the technology, understanding of the technology, or utilization. And that's clearly, mobile has been a great technology where they have shown, and a lot of us are still trying to catch up with the consumers. Unilever has its own stories about how they are doing the great work that they've done both in Vietnam and outside. But it's also about the population, and I think very rightly said, the Red Delta, which in Vietnam, which there is no other medium to reach those consumers. Now there is a medium, and it will only get pervasive and more personal. So from a leading brand to a leading research provider, Kantar Media Vietnam, we have our next keynote speaker. She is Miss Tranti Tan Mai, and she's going to talk about the landscape of mobile in Vietnam and what is it that's really happening to take on what Ms. Sri said about the population, the penetration, the rural consumers. What is it really that's making Vietnam the next opportunity when it comes to mobile? So we'll hear some thoughts from Kantar Media on that.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. So good morning again for those who already had the chance to say good morning. But for those who haven't had any chance to say good morning, my name is Mai. I'm the managing director of Kantar Media Vietnam, who do the media research in this country. So I started my career in marketing back in 1990, and I'm fortunate to have the opportunity to live, experience, and witness the change in the media landscape in this country and how it impacts to people's lives and also the way marketers are reaching out to consumers. So back in 1990s, it was the golden age for outdoor advertising, then print and broadcasters, up to late 2000s. Online advertising emerged as a new factors in early 2000s, but unfortunately for some obvious reason in Vietnam, the likes of infrastructure, the likes the government control policies, the internet, and also the likes of management keeping to the online advertising in Vietnam didn't take off at the same pace like the growth of online advertising globally. But having said that, the launch of the smartphones with the 3G and 4G technology has opened up a new way for marketers to reach out to consumers. So Gartner predicts mobile advertising spending in 2014 will reach 18 billion worldwide, so it's 15% up in 2013. And statistics from UK, from US, and the Nordic countries show that 1/3 of all digital advertising are spent on mobile advertising. And in Asia, South Korea is leading the game with 38% of spending on digital are spent on mobile advertising. And this even expected to reach up to 73% in 2018 in Korea. So it's really amazing, the growth of mobile advertising in these centers. But did Vietnam, or will Vietnam, will be able to catch up with the growth of the mobile advertising in the region or the global pictures? So, what I'm going to share with you in the next slides is our latest insights or finding from our first ever nationwide cross-media surveys. We interviewed 7,200 people across the countries. And yes, our results shows that Vietnam is very attractive mobile markets for all marketers and advertising industry alike. So mobile comes second to television in terms of home penetration of 96% of home having at least one mobile devices. Individually, 91.5% of urban populations and 89.7% of rural population having a mobile. And the numbers that you see on these slides show you the exposure that the average Vietnamese will reach different medium on a daily basis. So again, mobile is number 2 in terms of expose the medium to the consumers. So 92% EU standing for urban and R standing for rural populations. So 92% of urban populations, except urban Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi, and almost 85% of populations in the rural areas of Vietnam receiving at least all the promotional advertising SMS a day. So it's a huge number. There were some markets out there of mobile marketing, but how does it perform in the marketplace? So here's what we found out from our surveys. Mobile advertising on the receiver, on the SMS receivers, only 1.9% of the receivers found the ads useful for their purchase decisions. So somehow, the message is not sending to the right people or not really sending the right message to the right consumers. And mobile advertising, the SMS also recognized or perceived as the most annoying medium that people are having to receive on the advertising SMS putting in their face. And also, that is the type of media. The respondent find there's too much advertising. But the market's out there, so it's big. If you want to exploit the opportunity that mobile presented to you, then you need to do it right. So here are the 4 common mobile marketing mistakes that the industry has gone through. The first one is poor execution. You had to understand when you go on mobile marketing, you had to understand that your message needs to be compatible for all devices. So you need to understand what phones that your consumers are using so that they can be able to send the message or the ads compatible to what they have. Also, the mobile users reacts very different from the desktop user, as Ms. Chi already pointed out in her presentation earlier. So you need to think beyond what you already know to reach out using mobile marketing. And very, very important, risk management. The mobile marketing gives you a huge data to connect, and that can give all marketers business intelligence that's you never had before. So how can you leveraging all the big data that is connected from the mobile devices and mobile service platform is really useful for all your marketing campaigns. And last but not least, you need to look at promotion. When you do a mobile marketing, you need to promote it across all the promotional platform. So now talk about avoiding poor executions. It's very interesting, the mobile markets in Vietnam are characterized by 3 leading brands. Nokia is leading the brands of over 50% of market share, followed by Samsung and then iPhone. But will Nokia remain their leading share in the marketplace? But our survey is asking about the mobile phone that people purchased over the last 3 months or last months, and over the last 12 months show the decrease in terms of Nokia phones, people are purchased, but increasing in other brands, and notably Lenovo from the north. Talking about smartphone, when they allow you to do a much more richer mobile marketing. So Vietnam is second most populated smartphone market in South Asia after Indonesia, with a total of 34% of mobile users having smartphones. Of course, the urban population has much higher ratio with smartphones usage. So 47% of people in the urban area, excluding Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. I have to say that excluding Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, because Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City enjoy a much higher smartphone ratio than any other urban cities in Vietnam. And then in the rural areas, even though it's still dominated by feature phone, but smartphones increasing up almost to 30% of mobile users having a smartphone. But it also was to know that those who are using smartphone are very young target groups. So if you're looking at this chart showing that, people in the age group of 20 to 29 years old are the highest user of smartphone. And if you're working in media, you can notice that this target group, this particular target group of 20 to 29 years old is most difficult to reach target groups. They watch television less, they're using most internet, and now they're using smartphone and spend much time on smartphone than any other target groups. So that's also present a very good medium for marketers who target at these target groups to do something with mobile marketing. Again, Chi has shown in her presentation that Clear have developed very good apps for the smartphones in Vietnam. So we're looking at that. Definitely, we should develop apps if we know how to develop good apps and mobile campaigns. In Hanoi, with 60% of mobile users using smartphones, and Ho Chi Minh City, 50%. But it also was to know the operation system is very different between these smartphones. So the majority nationwide is Android. So almost 95% of all smartphone operators are Android phones, while iOS is standing for only 19%. But Hanoi in particular is very, very different from the rest of the country, where the combinations or the ratio between Android and mobile phone, or not mobile phone, I'm sorry, an iPhone, iOS phone is very close to each other. So you can see that the Hanoi user, the Hanoians has used the most up-to-date technology, and they love iPhone that when prefer iPhone than other phones in the market. And what else, when you're looking at your mobile campaigns, it's very interesting to notice the trends that people are using the mobile phone to access the internet. Is over 50% of people are using the mobile to go to the internet. And also quite was noted that 7% of people are using the mobile to watch TV contents, either through live TV broadcasting or retape this to watch it later on. And again, these trends show at a particular target groups, which is very young target groups coming from 15 to 29 years old. So when you're looking at your 360 advertising campaign, if you want to bring all this reaching, bring this young target group back to the television, you probably want to looking and combine, includes mobile at one medium to reach and convert or bring back the attention of the target groups to your main advertising message. So, in short, what we want to say that, obviously, our survey showed that users on the mobile are very different from users on the desktops. So you need to factor that in when you consider your mobile campaigns. And people using mobile with very different motivations, and it's very personal. As you pointed out, the device is very personal to individuals. So they're using the mobile different motivations, different places. So therefore, I think that's all that location-based, marketing, mobile marketing, targeting. You need to tailor it to the consumers. You can need it to contextual, you can need it to control, but you need to understand the needs of different consumers, different target groups. And then, of course, you need to understand the correct way to approach our targets in a different media. So that's bringing to the end of my presentation. So thank you very much for.
That was really insightful with specific growth numbers that clearly shows you what the opportunity is and how this is going to be growing even further. Whether it is numbers are coming out of Korea where it's 73% expected by 2018 or in Vietnam. Obviously the industry has its challenges, as she rightly said. It is also annoying if it is not targeted because mobile is a very personal medium. If you are not targeting as a brand, as an agency, as a provider, if you are not taking care of what kind of messages are being sent to the consumers, it kind of puts them off. It's also very annoying from that perspective. So we as an industry, as MMA, have guidelines, policies around that of how to best address so that we don't have the challenges that we had initially with SMS being considered only as a spam medium and not as a true marketing and advertising medium. The case study from Unilever on the Red Delta, which is purely on SMS, given that it was based on permission, what the kind of results it got because you address a specific need in the market. So moving on from a brand and a research provider to the largest agency in Vietnam, who has the privilege of working with a lot of local and international brands, but mostly local brands, and has made a space for themselves in this industry, trying to understand what are the dynamics of traditional media, largely driven by local brands, to the explosion of mobile. And I'm sure they are bridging the gap between that. So I would like to invite Mr. Din Bata, founder, group chairman and CEO of that with VSC Group Holdings, and Desi Kalisura, digital director, to take the stage and share with us their thoughts on integrating the traditional media with mobile in Vietnam. Thank you.
Chào tất cả các anh chị và các bạn. Tôi là Đinh Bá Thành và cô bạn của tôi là DC. Chúng tôi đại diện cho tổ hợp truyền thông Đức Việt. Tôi xin phép phải tương tác với cô này và cho phép tôi nói tiếng Anh. So ciao everybody. The topic today I want to share with you is we so-called as the integration of traditional media to the explosion of mobile. First and foremost, I would like to talk about the essence of this topic, the truth of imagination. Today, we are very privileged to witness the most enchanting era of humankind in imagination. Today, in every present moment, in anywhere, we have connect and we are able to share our emotion. With mobile evolution, we have reached the peak and we can enjoy the truth of imagination all the times. And now, you may ask me what exactly I'm talking about. Okay, may I ask you a very simple question. Who is this lady? Can I hear you? Yes, Lady Gaga, the legend. I have to say she's the legend. Because everybody on earth all agree that she has a boundless imagination. Agree? And you know what? And we never imagine what she's gonna do next in her life. Because we never see what's next with her. And she has built her persona from a very interestingly intrigue and shock values. And as we may know, she's a true master of communication. And she knows how to leverage her persona to connect, to share, and to influence her own truth with more than 42 million followers on this planet. Lady Gaga has reached the perfection of imagination, and I call it the truth of imagination.
So, the truth of imagination, we know that the Internet of Things is also the manifestation of mobile technology and imagination. So, Internet of Things, it enables the connection of objects, animals, locations, people to the Internet, sharing seamless data. So, Internet of Things also increases customer value over time. Now, Cisco estimates this is about 3.7 trillion in the customer value era. What we know now is that there are more than 300,000 more things becoming connected every hour, and that there are actually more devices than people on this earth.
So then the topic, as mentioned today, we talk about the evolvement or integration of traditional media to the explosion of mobile. But then, as you may see, my question is, traditional media, where are you? Because we believe that the concept of traditional media is no longer exist. Why? You have this number, 92%. Can I ask you a question, what does it mean? And I'm sure that nobody in this room will understand this number, except one person. Maybe they say. Okay. This number means the ratio of television addicts in Vietnam. So meaning by far, currently, it's still a very favored medium that all the clients and advertisers still prefer to spend money on. The point is, why it is this? Because of its reach, cost effectiveness, and visibility, or simply because of its legacy. However, the truth is that advertising, television is not a stand-alone medium anymore, because people, the viewers, has to watch TV because of the attraction and influence of the medium. What is, we're talking about second screens will attract people to watch TV more than before.
So what we see now is that what once was one-way TV is now adapted to an interactive, social, and on-demand experience. What used to be print publication that you flip through physical pages is now a richer, engaging experience through apps. And then what was once static out-of-home billboards have turned into more active, moving, connected signage that people can interact with in real time and on the go. Mobile has really exploded in the last decade or so and has become one of the most popular mediums. On average, people own about 3 mobile devices each. But mobile devices is not anymore just about mobile phone, laptop, or a PC or a tablet. It's actually emerged now to be cars, wearable devices like Nike Fuel Band, Google Glass, smartwatches, and these are all really popular examples of our increasingly connected lives.
The charisma of mobile. I love the word charisma, simply because the heritage and the motto of our Viet Basic Group Unix for the past 30 years is first with charisma. So let's have a look at what's the definition of charisma. In Vietnamese, it's so-called is hấp lực, meaning that lực để hấp dẫn somebody else. A compelling attractiveness that can inspire emotions in others. And we can see that the charisma that pulls mobile devices over billions of people on Earth. Because this is attractive, addictive, and inspire on the people devotion. You and your mobile become a long-lived partner, and your love with mobile will never be separated. That's what we think.
Now, it's because of this charisma that we see an explosion to the popularity that has completely transformed our world. This explosion, however, has just begun. The coming wave of new people, 4.5 billion of these people who have not yet experienced the internet, will have their first online experience via a portable device. They will actually never know the experience of being connected to a PC or a fixed line connection.
In my days, when I go to a party, I go to a club, it's mostly I go for myself, especially want to enjoy myself, by myself, or with a group of very close friends. So what did I do there? I dance, I drink, I listen to the music, I flirt girls and things like this. I physically involve myself in the existing surroundings. And I don't think of anything else besides, and it's only me and my friends. So what about today?
Today, when I go to a concert or to a club, the enjoyment actually is about recording the moment, collecting pictures, collecting videos with my device, sharing them with others. So not only am I enjoying the present moment, I'm also sharing that with someone else who may not be connected. So before, in a dance club, you may need a partner to go with you. Now, I don't need one, I have my device.
And again, in my days, as a gathering of the family is very much the true essence of closeness in focus. And you see a number of things that this is a very famous picture of Norman Rockwell. He's a very famous American painter. And he has a taste and a flavor to paint all this painting that reflect the reunion of a family. And this family is very famous because they have to get together almost every night with all kinds of people in his big family. And people go there to eat, to bond, share, and especially to care for each other.
So
you have to listen to the fathers all the time. When they speak, you have to keep quiet and listen to him during the...
Different to my family, when I have dinner with my family, the mobile device is the extra guest in my table. Everyone has one, they bring their phone to the table, they take pictures, they share information. And you know, that can be a good thing and a bad thing. It can be a distraction, but it can also be an opportunity to connect and share information and to connect with others who are far away.
You're not allowed to talk anymore. Okay, this is interesting. During my days, at the end of the day, in the evening, so all the family's members get together in the living room. We all watch a good movie, watch a comedy, and we smell the tears of the sister, or the laugh and the smile of the brother. So we see the behavior and the feeling of life and the feelings of every member of the family when we gather in the living room to watch TV. What about today?
So today, when we watch TV, Mr. Tan is right. As we watch TV, our faces are buried in our devices. We have multiple devices used in front of a television program, not only to connect with ourselves, each other, and other people, but also with the TV program that we're actually watching. And we'll talk about this second screen a little bit later. Meanwhile, overseas, we see some examples. In America, this charisma of mobile has taken hold in everyday society. A city has considered putting in an extra footpath for people who are walking and texting and not looking where they're going. Additionally, instead of free Wi-Fi, we have Wi-Fi free zones, where people actually are not allowed to connect and have to interact socially together. And going further, a pub in Brazil has introduced an offline glass, where you must put your glass underneath your mobile underneath your beer glass for it to stand up straight, to force you to interact with people. So here in Vietnam, how have we embraced mobile? Well, actually, it's redefined our culture. We see street vendors, we see young kids, we see older people, we see tradespeople, taxi drivers. They all have smartphones. This availability of cheaper devices from brands from China or local brands like FPT, for example, has made owning a smartphone even more accessible to everybody. So it's no longer, a smartphone is no longer a fashion accessory for the young or for the urbanite. It's actually going to reach to the far corners of the Vietnamese countryside. So it's no wonder, as Ms. Mai said before, Vietnam is the second fastest growing smartphone market in Asia. Really driven by key factors, the free Wi-Fi everywhere, and also the lower device usage. Can anyone tell me what's the cheapest smartphone in the market? Does anyone know how much it costs and what it is? No? 30. Not that cheap.
Or 2.
I went to the store yesterday to do market research and I checked $50 for a Wing Hero brand from China. And about $65 for an FPT F6. So less than $100 for a smartphone device becomes very, very easy to access. So now, almost 40% of our population will have a smartphone. This will grow, and the access on the internet will grow daily, and they never leave home without it. So much so that people tell me 37% would rather give up TV than their smartphone. So we know that a phone is no longer just about picking up and calling to your friend or your family. It's actually now become, a lifestyle companion. It's a web browser, it's a social network, it's an iPad, a chat platform, a game player, a video player, a calculator. You can do anything on your phone. Wow, there we go. My animations, now it's working. So, in summary, it's transformed our lifestyle and our attitudes. With mobile, we want things now. We want to talk to anyone, anywhere, at any time. We want the device to give us new things that create value, more than a tablet or a PC. We also expect mobile for things to be personalized, the advertising, the content, and we also want it to be easy and simple in the interactions.
Truth. That's what I'm going to talk about. Digital word of mouth and the truth. Truth is the most single important and valuable asset in today's world. I truly believe it very much. And people tirelessly hunt for the truth, to dedicate to love, justice, and equality in life. And this is somewhat that you will share with them.
Yes.
What's next?
So when we talk about truth, word of mouth, and how digital word of mouth fits into this, think about the last time you had good customer service, or the last time you had a great holiday at a really great hotel, or the best meal at your favorite restaurant. Did you tell anyone about it? How many people did you tell? Word of mouth in the past was limited to just people around you and your physical friends and family. Now when you have digital communications, and particularly with the mobile, you're able to share those experiences and information to millions and millions more worldwide. So the truth is spread far more than what it was originally.
And I would say that digital word of mouth is the most effective and it is indispensable in our life today. We have 3 reasons. Number 1 is, what I say is, word of mouth is fundamental nature of humankind, because we love gossip. And especially the men, not the ladies. They never gossip, right? And because we believe that gossip coming naturally from the most trusted relationship. That's why we trust. Second, this is more serious. People do not believe in the existing official media channels anymore. There will be a number of media owners here, but this is somewhat my humble observation. Because it's we say there's a reputation for the media owners or journalists to twist the story or hide the truth. And now it's very much open the platform for people to have all the sources to find the truth. And that brings to the next part is what is so-called is digital word of mouth is now open a new essence of trust and credibility.
So, one of the biggest trends in digital word of mouth we've seen is the conversations people are having about television programs. So this is already a natural behaviour. We talk to our friends and families about what we watched last night, or the film that we saw on the weekend, or a book that we read. So now we're seeing 75% of online users engage across social media in this way. And we predict this will actually grow more with smartphones and tablets, making it more convenient for people to comment on TV as they watch the program. So I want to talk about the tweet that travelled the world. I think you all know this tweet. This really leveraged on the whole second screen phenomenon and the mobile access to people while they're watching. It's best illustrated, a single tweet within minutes reached almost 80 million people globally because of that fact. And obviously we call this social TV. The union of television and social media and mobile, where users are watching TV at the same time as being connected. And with this social TV, traditional TV goes beyond just the living room and out into the world, as users with smartphones and tablets obviously make it more convenient to comment as they watch. Therefore, the ability to share your reaction through a mobile device and TV has cemented the reason why mobile is so important to integrating with traditional media. So what's next for Vietnam? I want to give you a quick rundown on this popular show. We've talked about the truth of imagination, the charisma of mobile, the nature of digital word of mouth. What we want to do at Datmir Group is transform the way users consume our content by leveraging all three trends. So You Can Think You Can Dance, everyone knows this program currently I'm showing. It's already a popular show, but how can we catapult this even further to drive more value, both for us and for the consumers? We want to start incorporating social and mobile behaviours, not just as an awareness or marketing tool, but as core to the success of the program. And the whole point of this is about storytelling. Storytelling. We want to see a show that incorporates, for example, social media voting in real time via all social channels, so not just Facebook, but also on Twitter. We want to connect the viewers, the judges, and the contestants during and after the show through digital word of mouth, the way that they do in the States, for example, with The Voice. And what we also want to do is we want to encourage our contestants and judges to connect to their audiences with mobile devices. So we're going to give our contestants mobile devices, teach them social media skills, teach them how to blog, teach them how to tweet, and use that as a way for audiences to connect with them on their journey throughout the show. So non-stop storytelling is the key, and by adding in human elements to this program, aided by social, digital word of mouth, and also mobile technology, we can create a unique story that truly delivers the truth.
Happiness is about being connected together. And happiness never increases by being shared. That's what Buddha is saying. Technology is just a means to help you achieve happiness. And please never forget the core essence in life is humanity.
That was really insightful and really well done. The traditional and the digital world coming together on the stage, to me, was a highlight, the way it was presented. It truly is, I think the last bit of the presentation talking about the truth and the belief. The consumers really need to believe in you. And as I said earlier, if mobile is the truly personal device, they believe in the device, and the messaging and the targeting and the work that we collectively in the industry do on mobile is really to gain their trust. And that to me personally is also very important, because you need to work to have that emotional connect with the consumers. It's the emotional connect which in 1960s started with TV, because there was audio and video. That led to emotions. It wasn't the outdoor hoardings or other print advertisement which really drove the emotional connect. I think 40 years, 50 years later, that emotional connect is now being driven by mobile for the consumers. And we need to be careful, because if it can do everything and anything for you, you need to be as a marketeer, as a person trying to reach the consumer, you need to be very sure that you are talking to them at the time that they want to talk to you, and in a tone that they would appreciate. So with that, and that leads me to the next speaker. Next speaker is Rahul Pandey, co-founder and CEO of Bonsai. And he's talking about creativity. And all that I just said, if it's a personal, emotional connect, it all leads and gets generated from the creative that you put together. Whether it's a TV creative, whether it's an online creative or mobile creative, it needs to drive that messaging. And creativity can lead to help maximize the potential of interaction and connection with the consumers. So without further ado, Rahul Pandey.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Rohit. I come from a company which is building something very interesting, which is at the intersection of technology and creativity. When the world is going digital, and thanks to our previous speakers, it's talking about how the digital is taking this entire digital word of mouth. So like he said, to masses, to volume, and how do you build the right messaging? And how do you integrate this entire messaging, which gives you back a lot of data and a lot of understanding about the consumer, that how he or she is getting engaged with what you wanted him or her to see your product or see your brand to be. Very, very interesting space. And I wanted to share with you some of the case studies which has come out of this entire technology platform which we provide. But I'm not actually talking about Bonsai. I'm really talking about what this creative means to this entire digital medium, and in particular mobile. So I think we all talk about campaign, and I think people today are going to talk about how to build an effective campaign, how to reach out to the user right there, you know, wherever he's shopping, eating, or whatever he's deciding. But I think if you look at, there are two parts of building an effective communication. I think the first is the reach, which a lot of media companies are now trying to reach out to that user, be it location-based and various other things. But I think really is that when you reach out to that user, how you want him to engage, what is your messaging? And I think a combination of these two really create a successful campaign. And when friends from Unilever talked about the KPIs, when you set those KPIs based on what your media is going to be and what your creative messaging is going to be. And I think it resides on three pillars of this entire campaign. Two of them which is not in your hand, because audience, really you want to reach out to them, but it's not in your hand. You kind of buy media. The content resides with the publisher, that what kind of content your publisher is publishing, be it a gaming publisher or be it a news publication. But I think what it resides with you is really the experience which you want to give to that user. And I think how do you build that entire experience in the creative which you run across mobile and tablet. And believe me, this strong line that a good creative can overcome your bad media plan. And believe me, this is so true. At the end of the day, people remember that, you know, what was the creative. I think taking this entire thing I want to just showcase you one of the most beautiful campaign which we saw, and again from the office of Unilever, is that this is the creative. Can you believe this? This is the creative, and this is the power of the creative which engages the user. And they get a selfie, get posted wherever you want to on social network, and I just can't tell you the kind of numbers they did on this particular creative. But I think the purpose is to put this entire case study here is about they're giving the power to their user to come inside the creative without even getting an app download. It's just a banner which gets extended and you have a front camera activating when you see this advertising. And the native camera takes over and your consumer becomes a part of your advertising. I think that's the medium expression. And this is a case study which is back in India, and I wanted to share these numbers, and believe me, after the rest of this, my presentation is all about the rest of the case studies, but I think this is the most important case studies and most important slide of my presentation is that Bose wanted to launch a $300 hands-free kind of a headphone, and this was their option number one, and this is where they started. And I urge all the brand managers sitting out here to look at this slide very carefully, because this is what you need to go back and check with your every campaign which you build. Is that a direct banner taking it to a final buying page? And believe me, everyone says that, oh, we want to build an M site or we want to build an app to just get this product sold in the market. And this was happening in the scenario one. And this is being taken for a certain period of time. 1,000 users clicked on this banner, reached out to the final destination of buying this from the cart. And there were purchases. There were 21 purchases. Okay. And if you look at what they did after analyzing that, what's happening here is that, it's a $300 product, and you just can't expect a customer just clicking this and reaching out there and buying it. And I think in the scenario two, they realized that, I think we're not giving the entire experience that what this product does. And they just inserted a beautiful experience about this entire product. And basically this creative, where you touch every part of this text which is written on the creative, you kind of know about the product a little more better. You kind of get into the entire experience part. And in the same period, 1,000 users. And what happened to the 1,000 users moved on to the final cart, but after getting the entire experience. And this is the number of purchase. It clearly shows that if I've seen this 95% of the time it goes in buying media, but when it comes to mobile creative, and next slide I'll tell you that what the syndrome in this entire thing is that they don't give time to the creative. Remember one thing, that you'll be able to get the user, but what do you communicate with the user? I think it's very important, and I think this is a slide which summarizes the entire concept which I'm talking about. And believe me, I don't know how many of you will raise your hands and say that this is the right syndrome. That when you talk to your media agency, you talk to your ad networks, and everyone talks about, can I get a free creative because I'm putting $100,000 on this campaign? Do get a free creative, But be careful what's happening with your rest of the media monies which you're putting. And I'm saying that it's just by putting 10% on the right creative, building the right creative, you can see the kind of uplift you get in your entire interaction. Definitely your reach will reduce. But look at that, how your experience, how your entire engagement with the user will increase. So my point which I'm trying to drive here is that do understand the creative better. Do spend some time and resources in the creative, because that's very, very important. And it's just not building the creative in a traditional way. I think the point which was was shared by Kantar Media so well, that the entire execution is the biggest problem out of those four. And I think if you execute your campaign well on the media as well as on the creative, you're definitely going to get a great output. And some of these case studies, I'll just run it fast across the brands, but are so beautifully done that a brand like this takes the entire communication so seriously and builds this entire engagement, which talks about various features of the watch, which talks about what's there, even more detailing, everything. And you don't need to build an app. You don't need to build an M site. Everything happens within the creative. So you kind of display your product. This is we call it Amazon of India, or Flipkart. Even an e-commerce company spending so much time and resources on the creative that they kind of get the right output which they need from any media buy which they do. So this was a campaign which was done for how difficult for a lady to select from the wardrobe, you all know. And they kind of just created a small game out of this creative and says, you choose and you see that what you like and what you don't like today. And then it takes you to the final buying cart. And this is about Domino's, which uses Domino's used the passbook feature of iPhone and created the couponing, okay, which works on all the passbook, and their reflection of the sales definitely showed much higher value. So it's all going back to the creative that they were able to do the creatives right. But let me tell you what happens after these creative is that, and this is the last case study, is about the Ford Endeavor when they wanted to launch along with certain celebrity, and everything happens through a single dashboard that you kind of they combined this with the television airing, and the entire campaign received a fabulous response. But I think, coming back to these last 3 slides about when you do the creative through a technology, you kind of understand that even better, okay? Now, if you look at this entire creative, it's just not about what is a CTR, It's about how user is interacting with your creative. What are the heat maps, And these heat maps tells you that, which are the area in this entire ad is being touched more. And you kind of, on a real-time basis, you move your action buttons closer to that. I think this, a lot of brands have used this, and it tells you that where you need to really put your product, where you need to really put your call to action, and all this happens through a technology, and it's just not an adaptation of a creative from a web to a mobile, or just a freelancer building a creative and just supplying the digital assets. It's actually driven through the entire technology. Not only this, I think you can run multiple creatives and see which one is working, and you do an entire online real-time A/B testing, and you see that, okay, this is the creative which is working fine, and let me just stop my media monies on the creative which is not working, and just move the entire media to the creative which is working. And this gives a real-time reporting in terms of which creative is working. It just in this particular case, they just changed the color of the car and few colors on the action button, and they saw this entirely different output on the CTR. So these are the technologies which are available, and you have then you buy media from anywhere. You don't have to wait for reportings to come in that how your campaigns are performing in X publisher versus Y publisher. You just have everything on a single dashboard, saying that how this creative campaign performed on a single dashboard, and has a lot of creative intelligence built in this entire process. So with this, I just wanted to wrap up and say that it's really important that to build the right messaging. And
hello, welcome everybody. I think I will just go ahead. Rohit had to step out for a moment. So my name is Christian Weisenhofer. I'm based out of Singapore. I'm in Vietnam also from time to time, actually, because we're building development and operations out of Vietnam. But in my day job, I'm doing a location-based advertising company, or location-based advertising solutions. And that's also the topic for the next 40 minutes, where we'll have 3 presenters. So I want to start off with the first few slides on the reality of location-based marketing and give some ideas, insights, and also examples of location-based advertising and marketing. Thank you. And I would like to start it off actually with a book recommendation for you. The book is called The Age of Context. It's written by 2 tech bloggers from the US. And when you look at that book, it very much takes the state of the art and it connects a bit back to just what we heard before, the trend from the traditional to the digital media, all the contextual devices. And the key element, the key message really of that book is location is the key driver of all these contextuals. So just as a potential reading for you. Now, building directly also onto the different display formats or the creatives what we just had from Rahul. I want to start off here with a few points on why actually usually everybody hates almost your mobile advertising, because they are not relevant, they are distractive, if they're not well done. Maybe sometimes the advertiser did even not ask for permission to display advertising, can be leading to pop-ups and to spam. So there are a lot of things which can actually annoy if you look at display advertising. But the main point is actually the lack of relevance. That's the #1 complaint. And the relevance can be achieved through better creatives, but the irrelevance can be also achieved through better targeting, through one of the key factors, location. So let's try to overcome all these points why people don't like the mobile ads. And let's go into what great mobile ads are. So they're not annoying, they're not invasive, they're right to the point, they load also quick. I mean, you have 3G here in Vietnam, but not everybody is probably on a 3G plan, so small file sizes. But mainly important, they are relevant to the consumer. Then you have good mobile ads. Now location, if we talk about location, mainly locations are retail outlets, can be football stadiums, can be all airports, all kinds of different locations, but physical real-world locations. And usually if you do location targeting, you look at so-called geofences. That means you look at a specific point on the map, you draw a radius around it, and then use different technologies like GPS, Bluetooth or Wi-Fi in order to locate the people who are inside those geofences. But then there are people who are also outside the geofence which are not targeted. So you're clearly differentiating whom you're targeting around these locations. And this is how a user journey could look like. Somebody, a potential customer who is out in the city, and he has his mobile device, he's maybe connected to a Wi-Fi network, or he's with his device looking into an app, like a taxi booking app, and sees location-based advertising, gets drawn into the store, makes a purchase. That's the ideal scenario of a location-based advertising campaign if you talk about display advertising. But there's more than just pure display advertising to location-based marketing, mobile location-based marketing. You can actually do quite interesting things with it. So geo-conquesting brings customers or consumers from your competitor in your own store. So how can this look like, a campaign like this? For example, Subway was running a campaign around a number of stores of their competitor in Australia with a message you can see on the banner which was pointing to the closest Subway store. So competitor in this case was McDonald's, and I guess hopefully not anybody from McDonald's in the room. But I mean that's a very powerful way of doing location-based banner advertising in this case, so that you can do these geo-conquesting campaigns. But beyond advertising, there's also location-based gaming, so you take the same methodologies to locate people, locate phones, to run games. And for that, I want to give you a little example how engaging this can be. I mean, we have seen it with the TV just before, but people also with their devices out in the streets can play games. And I would like to show a small trailer of one game, which is a location-based game. Oops, back. Can you play the video, please?
Not know what was happening in terms of hacking.
A campaign to collect passwords of email account holders. We have paid this information costs.
Welcome to the new era of privacy. All of your private data will be locked away on secure government servers.
Now the government protects the secrets. We're not worried about
The Department of Privacy. Your privacy is our business.
Radio check, radio check. Put your headphones in now. This is a private transmission. You have been recruited as an undercover agent for the Department of Privacy. That dot on your map is you. Listen to me. I need you to tap the worker's phone by hacking the antenna to your north.
Is anybody ready? Sitting right now. Find the person who took the data. Standing by.
You're approaching the electrical box. Cut power to the security. Power is down. You are go, go, go.
It's a job.
Trust me, we're the good guys here. Here's all the dead drops in your area currently. Upload those files to any drop. Keep an eye out for surveillance. Create a dead drop of your own. Go, go, get out of there. Gotta love technology.
So, just to give you an example that gaming element can be also very much levered on for location-based activity. Now, moving back to more in an advertising context, I've drawn a circle here where you can see around the path to purchase basically the different methodologies or different ways you can use to advertise with display ads, with video ads, through Wi-Fi targeting, to create the drive the football, to engage consumers, and to build relationships with them. So there are multiple touch points. You can do SMS or in-app push messages, location-based, and we will have from the operator point of view in a few moments more information on that. You can do in-app display ads, what we were mentioning already, Wi-Fi targeting, but then there's also Bluetooth beacons, which became more and more now popular and used, and digital signage, as retargeting. Then one move down of the slide here. So let's look at those in brief slides. Now everybody has seen the banner before, but I would like to draw the attention to the fact that those have dynamic content based on the location you are. So it tells you, in this case, the name of the store where the Xbox One is available and the distance, how far away you are in this moment when you see the ad from the store. This can be also a rich media format. So this is an example from a campaign in the UK where Sky has Wi-Fi hotspots, and when we were tapping on the small banner, a larger banner came up and showed a map, interactive map of the closest Wi-Fi hotspots. And with those type of campaigns, you get higher click rates, even without now looking at the creatives only, but by looking at the creatives in terms of make them more relevant through names and distances of the places the campaign is targeting. On Wi-Fi, this should actually have a background image, okay. So what I want to show with this one is if you're connected to a Wi-Fi network, you can actually overlay web content with advertising. So you can, in a mall, for example, or in a football stadium, you can bring advertising content easily in the browser of the consumer connected to your Wi-Fi network. Then briefly touching on the beacons. So beacon is a Bluetooth technology, and with beacons, when they're deployed in malls or in shops, you can have an interaction with the consumer who's entering your store. You can remind him that there's a specific campaign running. You can, if you have a loyalty program, you can remind him that he can claim his loyalty points, or up to even other possibilities that a hotel who is offering to their guests content, like reading content, and you have in the lobby, for example, Bluetooth beacons installed. So as long as you're in the lobby, you can read that content, you can access to that content. So there are all kinds of different ways how you can use beacons in order to get relevant messages at specific locations to the consumers. And then I close back the loop here also to the real-world signage. So digital signage, location-based, can also complement the campaigns you're running through the Bluetooth, through the display ads. So you have all the different steps how you can connect to the consumer and different touch points. I want to close it off actually with new possibilities. Probably retargeting from the web. When you visit a website and then you go to other websites, and from this first website, then you get all kinds of still banner ads which try to bring you back to the initial website, maybe an e-commerce website. Now, meanwhile, this is possible on mobile as well. So if a geo-fenced campaign is running, say back to the examples of before, the Xbox campaign, for example, every consumer who has seen that banner, we can retarget then after he has left the geo-fence, and can try to make coming back or deliver a secondary message to the consumers with a retargeting campaign only to those people who have been previously inside the geo-fences. So with that, I'm closing off actually with a quote which just reinforces the importance of location for mobile advertising, and would like to hand over now to from retail. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy here, and also very happy when I'm the first telco to present in Mobile Marketing Association Forum. But I would like to present in Vietnamese because all my idea, all my concept is easier and for me in Vietnamese. Thưa các bạn, thì tôi rất là vui mừng khi tôi là một trong những nhà telco đầu tiên đến trình bày ở hội nghị Mobile Marketing Forum. Thì chúng tôi muốn mang hôm nay đến cho các bạn những cái concept mới hoàn toàn về mobile marketing khi hợp tác với telco, và tôi lại ngược với tất cả các đồng nghiệp lúc trước, tức là tất cả các anh chị đấy đều trình bày những cái sản phẩm hết sức là công nghệ cao, phải kết nối marketing, phải kết nối internet, phải smartphone. Thì tôi lại mang đến những công nghệ rất là bình thường, và nó đang targeted, nó đang hướng đến khoảng có chừng là 70-75% dân số tại Việt Nam. Và một cái điều đặc biệt hơn là chúng ta làm mobile marketing để làm gì? Để chúng ta phải hướng đến bán hàng. Thì telco lại là người đang có cơ hội để làm cái việc đấy rất là dễ dàng với mobile commerce, bởi vì là telco đang giữ tiền của khách hàng. Telco kết nối với ngân hàng rất là dễ dàng để có thể chuyển khoản thanh toán những việc đấy. Và những việc đấy thực ra nó đã ngấm ngầm xảy ra ở Việt Nam rồi, mà nó không phải là một concept nữa. Thì sau đây tôi sẽ trình bày. Thì telco chúng tôi thì liên tục đầu tư những mạng lưới từ 1G, 2G, 3G và sắp tới có thể 4G. Cái mục đích là để tăng cái value thông tin ở trên mấy điện thoại đấy. Còn thực ra cái tính năng gọi điện và nhắn tin thì không đổi, và tất cả các mạng đều diễn ra như thế. Nhưng mà ở Việt Nam chúng ta chưa phát triển như ở nước khác, tức là cái lượng smartphone vẫn chưa nhiều. Mặc dù được đánh giá là trong những quốc gia phát triển nhiều, nhưng mà lượng smartphone sử dụng và gắn 3G vẫn chưa nhiều. Và bằng chứng là các telco của tôi cũng đo được là lượng 3G tăng trưởng nhưng mà không vượt bậc như chúng ta đang nghĩ. Thế thì chúng ta đang đối mặt với những vấn đề như sau. Tức là nếu mà chúng ta cứ dùng SMS thì chúng ta giống như là spam, và chi phí SMS hiện nay là đang rất là đắt, và hiệu quả theo chúng tôi đo rất là kém. Thực ra là với những dịch vụ của telco chúng tôi mà khi SMS đến khách hàng với brand name nghiêm túc thì hiệu quả còn nhỏ hơn cả 1%. Nên tôi không hiểu là khi các brand khác mà marketing thì hiệu quả sẽ như thế nào, nhưng mà chắc chắn là ít. Nguyên nhân bởi vì là chúng ta không lưu trữ user profile. Chúng ta không biết là khách hàng đấy là nông dân hay là học sinh, ông đấy đang ở đâu, ông đấy di chuyển từ đâu đến đâu, thì tất cả những việc đấy là telco chúng tôi đều biết hết. Thứ hai là trong cái việc mua marketing bằng SMS chúng ta không gắn đến một kịch bản, tức là đa số là chúng ta tự động spam đến, còn chúng ta không quan tâm là nhiều khi người ta quảng cáo, nhận quảng cáo vui nhưng mà trong một cái cảnh người ta đang buồn chẳng hạn thì người ta không thể đọc được tin nhắn đấy. Đấy là lý do tại sao mà mua marketing bằng SMS là hiệu quả rất thấp. Và thực tế là những dịch vụ của chúng tôi marketing đến khách hàng cũng chỉ dưới 1%, dưới 1% người ta đọc. Những cái loại quảng cáo khác như các đồng nghiệp chúng tôi vừa trình bày thì ví dụ như là app trên đấy hiện pop-up banner thì chúng ta cũng sẽ nhìn thấy một cái thực cảnh mà chúng tôi đo được trên mạng, tức là hiện nay số lượng smartphone ở ít nhất là Viettel chúng tôi chiếm khoảng chừng 60% thị phần, 50% thị phần thì chỉ có khoảng là 25% máy là smartphone, và như lúc nãy là chị như ở Canta, tức là ở khu vực rural area là còn thấp hơn nữa, trong khi những công ty ở những nơi ở urban, tức là những nơi thành phố thì lại cao hơn. Có một thực trạng nữa, nếu các bạn không để ý các bạn sẽ nhìn thấy là như thế này. Trong cái 25% máy smartphone đấy là cũng không phải tất cả kết nối data 3G, và trong đấy thì 30% là tắt đi cái tính năng định vị ở trên smartphone bởi vì lý do cá nhân và lý do làm tốn pin. Đấy, nên những cái concept như anh Yos vừa trình bày bên công ty Yos vừa trình bày là rất nhiều khi là không hoạt động được bởi vì là người ta đã tắt đi tính năng định vị. Và trong 25% máy smartphone đấy thì chúng tôi đo được là khoảng 50 đến 60% là tắt đi cái tính năng data 3G. Đấy, mua máy smartphone rất là đắt nhưng mà chỉ dùng khi nào về nhà bật wifi hoặc là cắm vào nguồn điện thôi. Còn bình thường đi đường hoặc là họ ngồi ở đâu thì họ tắt đi tính năng 3G chỉ vì đơn giản là họ rất là tốn pin và là chi phí 3G hiện nay là quá cao, bởi vì khi mà bật 3G lên thì nó liên tục nhận được notification từ những application khác nhau và làm rất là tốn pin, nhiều khi nó lại là những video hoặc là những cái quảng cáo ở đấy thì người ta tắt đi. Như vậy là vô tình là cái quảng cáo ở trên máy smartphone được các anh chị kỳ vọng như một cái phương án hữu hiệu hiện nay lại có vẻ là không phát huy tại Việt Nam. Tất nhiên là nó đang tiến triển nhưng mà nó không phát huy vượt bậc như mọi người nghĩ, như một công nghệ mang lại cái hiệu quả kinh doanh cao. Và nếu ai đã dùng smartphone như tôi đã dùng, tôi biết tức là khi mà lượng pop-up hoặc là lượng spam nó hiện ra quá nhiều và không theo một cái ngữ cảnh, không theo một kịch bản nào cả thì nó cũng thành spam, và khi spam thì người ta sẽ không đọc. Và lúc nãy ở bên đất Việt thì như cũng nói bên Unilever nói đấy là làm nó thành spam mà người ta sẽ không đọc nhiều. Và như tôi nói là tất cả các phương án marketing ở Việt Nam hiện nay đều không dẫn đến mobile commerce. Điều đấy là điều đáng tiếc, bởi vì khi chúng ta marketing xong thì chúng ta phải nên nhớ là cái máy điện thoại là nó gắn liền với tiền, nó gắn liền với một cái danh định cá nhân, và khi chúng ta sau khi marketing xong một kịch bản là người ta click vào đấy để người ta mua luôn một cái gì đấy là rất là hiệu quả, vì tiền nó nằm ở trên này hết rồi. Và hiện nay Viettel chúng tôi đang làm tất cả những việc đấy. Thế thì tôi mang đến một cái concept mới cho các bạn, đó là mobile marketing theo ngữ cảnh, nhưng mà lại trên một cái nền không phải là 3G, không phải smartphone, đúng không? Và cái ngữ cảnh đấy sẽ dẫn đến mobile commerce ở Việt Nam. Để chúng ta hiểu hơn cái ngữ cảnh mobile marketing theo ngữ cảnh như thế nào thì tôi đưa ra một ví dụ. Ví dụ như là chúng tôi đang có rất nhiều dịch vụ tương tự thế này. Ví dụ như là dịch vụ mẹ và bé. Mẹ và bé tức là chúng tôi làm thế nào để lưu trữ cơ sở dữ liệu bà mẹ và em bé càng nhiều ở Việt Nam càng tốt. Đấy, và sau đấy chúng tôi sẽ phục vụ các việc marketing. Thế thì đầu tiên là chúng tôi làm việc với cả những cái media mẹ và bé, các chuyên gia tư vấn, các bệnh viện, các dịch vụ y tế, các doanh nghiệp để hợp tác với họ. Tôi lấy ví dụ như là chương trình ở Việt Nam có một cái chương trình là cân trẻ em, cân trẻ em, khoảng 6 triệu trẻ em phải được cân một năm 2 lần và uống vitamin A để xác định xem là thể trạng đứa trẻ như thế nào. Thế thì chúng tôi hợp tác với những công ty đấy để với Viện Dinh dưỡng Việt Nam để lưu trữ cơ sở dữ liệu tất cả các em bé khi cân. Đấy. Và sau đấy thì chúng tôi cung cấp những cái nội dung thông tin từ A đến Z cho bà mẹ. Đấy. Ví dụ như là từ thời kỳ mang thai, tức là từ âm 9 tháng cho đến khi sinh con, cho đến khi nó lớn lên, rồi nhắc nhở tiêm chủng và tư vấn cả những vấn đề về giáo dục, sức khỏe trong đấy, cho đến khi nó đạt khoảng 6 tuổi. Đấy. Và đương nhiên là chúng tôi có lồng vào những yếu tố mua sắm ở trên đấy để chúng ta có thể mua bán được. Đấy là phần là phần nội dung. Về phía interface với khách hàng á, thì chúng tôi đưa ra rất nhiều interface khác nhau. Tôi gọi là interface theo kiểu như là đa kênh giao tiếp, tương tác đơn giản. Tức là ngoài cái việc mà chúng ta có một trang web để quảng bá cho dịch vụ của mình, thì chúng tôi cũng có rất nhiều cái như là SMS, là USSD tương tác. Cái nghĩa USSD tôi sẽ giải thích. Tức là trên cùng một cái nền tảng nội dung, chúng tôi có thể cung cấp được rất nhiều interface khác nhau. Thay vì là chúng ta chỉ có application hay là chỉ trang web, thì ở Việt Nam những cái đấy nó có vẻ không hiệu quả lắm. Mà những cái SMS theo ngữ cảnh, những cái USSD quảng cáo theo ngữ cảnh thì nó sẽ là hiệu quả. Tôi lấy ví dụ như là chúng tôi muốn bán bỉm hay bán sữa cho bà mẹ, thì chúng tôi sẽ nhắn những cái tin là, tại vì tôi biết đấy là bà mẹ, tôi nhắn những cái tin tư vấn là hôm nay đã đến thời kỳ bé bắt đầu cai sữa mẹ, chuẩn bị là chuyển sang uống sữa bình. Đấy, thì cái thời điểm đấy luôn luôn là bác sĩ cho được, và chúng tôi biết được đứa trẻ ngày đầu sinh ra là ngày nào, và chúng tôi cung cấp đây những loại sữa như sau có thể hợp tác được và chúng ta bán được. Và sau đấy chúng tôi có thể dùng USD là một kịch bản có thể tương tác rất nhiều lần, nó không phức tạp như SMS, và có thể khảo sát xem là loại sữa nào, hoặc là bà mẹ nhận diện được loại sữa nào bà mẹ yêu thích, hoặc là túi tiền của bà mẹ là bao nhiêu để chúng ta cung cấp một loại sữa phù hợp. Một cái nữa, trong dự án này chúng ta làm đặc biệt đó là quan hệ khách hàng thông minh, tức là chúng tôi lưu trữ cơ sở dữ liệu khách hàng. Tôi nghĩ là tất cả các công ty mà có tính chất xã hội, mạng xã hội đều lưu trữ hết, và Viettel cũng là một công ty như thế. Chúng tôi lưu trữ là hồ sơ khách hàng, là bà mẹ đấy tên là gì, ở đâu, có đứa con là trai hay là gái, sinh vào ngày tháng năm nào. Qua những cái lần cân như thế chúng tôi đo được hết. Chúng tôi có thể đo được, thậm chí luôn là biết được lý lịch sức khỏe. Tại vì thông qua những lần mà bà mẹ cần tìm bác sĩ thì bà mẹ gọi điện lên tổng đài tư vấn của chúng tôi, và bà mẹ đưa chúng tôi những thông tin đấy và chúng tôi lưu trữ, và thông tin đấy chúng tôi sẽ chuyển tới bác sĩ. Chúng tôi có những cái calendar lịch nhắc nhở, tức là đúng vào những thời điểm đấy thì chúng tôi nhắc nhở là bà mẹ tiêm phòng và cho những địa điểm tiêm phòng gần nơi bà mẹ sinh sống nhất, bởi vì là chúng tôi biết được vị trí khách hàng ở đâu. Và cuối cùng là quan trọng nhất là chúng tôi lưu được, chúng tôi có cơ sở giữ tiền của khách hàng trong máy điện thoại này, và chúng tôi hoàn toàn có thể làm thương mại điện tử, thanh toán. Chúng tôi có hai phương án thanh toán là thanh toán vào tài khoản viễn thông và thẳng máy luôn, hoặc là chúng tôi thanh toán trên mobile banking. Thì tí nữa tôi sẽ kể một vài câu chuyện chúng tôi đang làm. Cái kịch bản rất là đơn giản thôi, người mẹ đăng ký, sau đấy là tất cả cơ sở dữ liệu sẽ được lưu trữ vào trong hệ thống của chúng tôi. Thì kịch bản đăng ký ấy nó rất là đơn giản, như là khi cân đứa trẻ khi uống vitamin A, hoặc là đơn giản hơn là chúng tôi bắt một hệ thống wifi miễn phí ở trong bệnh viện. Đấy, tất cả cái đấy là chúng tôi lưu trữ được, và chúng tôi làm việc với bệnh viện để lưu trữ cơ sở dữ liệu đấy. Sau đấy chúng tôi làm việc với các chuyên gia và các media mẹ và bé để đưa cái dữ liệu đấy vào trong một cái CMS, tức là cái lưu trữ nội dung. Và kịch bản của khách hàng như sau, tức là hàng ngày hoặc là hàng tuần chúng tôi nhắn tin thông báo nhắc nhở những cái lịch mà một người mẹ cần phải làm với đứa con. Đấy, sau đấy là chúng tôi có thể quảng cáo kèm theo ngữ cảnh, bởi vì chúng tôi biết được khách hàng đấy là ai. Nếu mà người mẹ cần thông tin tư vấn mà nó cao cấp hơn, tại vì tin nhắn nó rất là ngắn, nó không thể nào làm tất cả thông tin nằm trong tin nhắn ấy được, thì người mẹ có thể gọi điện lại tổng đài, thì trên cái tin nhắn đấy có tổng đài, và chúng tôi có khoảng 3.000 cô gái call center sẵn sàng trả lời. Và tất nhiên là khi họ tra cứu cái cơ sở dữ liệu đấy của các chuyên gia đưa lên, chứ còn những cô gái đấy hoàn toàn không có thông tin, và họ lấy thông tin từ cái cơ sở dữ liệu của chuyên gia đưa lên. Nếu mà những câu hỏi khó quá thì họ có thể chuyển về các chuyên gia, thì chuyên gia này có thể là những cái bộ phận chăm sóc khách hàng của những của cái thương hiệu mà đang muốn quảng cáo đấy, và họ sẽ gọi điện tư vấn cho bà mẹ. Cô gái call center nhập vào dữ liệu tất cả những cuộc gọi đấy và kiểm tra kết quả cuộc gọi đấy. Thì những cái dịch vụ như này chúng tôi có rất nhiều. Ví dụ như là chúng tôi có dịch vụ AgriOne là dịch vụ dành cho nông dân. Chúng tôi cũng biết được là từng ông nông dân là đang trồng lúa hay là nuôi cá đang ở đâu, giống ông đang dùng là loại gì. Tôi có một cái dịch vụ ví dụ như là dịch vụ thuế hoặc là dịch vụ bảo hiểm. Chúng tôi cũng đang làm dịch vụ bảo hiểm. Cái việc concept lúc đầu là công ty bảo hiểm họ chỉ muốn làm thế nào để bán bảo hiểm thôi. Đấy, thì chúng tôi đưa ra là không, chúng ta đừng bán bảo hiểm trên mobile mà chúng ta phải tư vấn cho người ta là cái xe máy, cái xe hơi đấy nên sử dụng thế nào, bảo hiểm nó làm sao, chỗ nào có thể là rửa xe rẻ nhất, hoặc là hoặc là các khuyến mãi cho xe cộ như nào. Sau đấy cuối một năm chúng ta mới nhắn tin trên điện thoại di động và yêu cầu họ là vâng, em chăm sóc anh suốt một năm vừa rồi trên tin nhắn rồi đúng không? Thì anh cho em một cái thanh toán trên điện thoại di động khoảng 100.000 để mua bảo hiểm của chính anh chị. Sau đấy sẽ có người đi ra bảo hiểm. Thì đấy là những kịch bản theo scenario, là theo một kịch bản tôi đang làm đấy, rất nhiều dịch vụ đang làm đó. Thế thì khi mà các bạn là những cấp dịch vụ thì các bạn muốn hợp tác cái gì với telco thì thông thường là chúng ta muốn là bán những cái nội dung đấy hoặc là bán cái dịch vụ đấy, hoặc là chúng ta muốn là có user profile, có rất nhiều người tương tác một cái chương trình, một cái marketing campaign, một cái chiến dịch như thế đấy. Và sau đấy chúng ta mong muốn là quảng cáo, và đương nhiên ai cũng mong muốn là quảng cáo cuối cùng là để bán hàng. Thì chúng tôi nhận thấy là những cái khó khăn như sau mà chúng ta có thể hợp tác. Khó khăn thứ nhất là các bạn rất cần những công nghệ nằm ở trên lòng của telco đấy. Thứ hai là hoặc là những cái tài nguyên giá rẻ như là nhắn tin giá rẻ, là USSD là một công nghệ nhắn tin mà không cần tra cứu, không cần phải nhớ cú pháp, giá rẻ, hoặc là IVR gọi điện giá rẻ, chúng tôi đều có thể hợp tác được. Kế tiếp là các bạn cần thu phí hoặc là thu tiền từ những dịch vụ e-commerce. Kế tiếp là các bạn muốn cùng với Viettel tạo một kịch bản chăm sóc khách hàng, lặp đi lặp lại là chúng ta không spam, và chúng tạo một kịch bản vừa cung cấp thông tin, vừa cung cấp nội dung và chăm sóc khách hàng cùng với Viettel. Và cuối cùng là nếu mà chương trình đấy đồng hành với Viettel, bởi vì Viettel cũng là một trong những hiếm cái thương hiệu lớn ở Việt Nam được định nghĩa là thương hiệu tốt mà lại tốt theo nghĩa positive, tức là không gây sốc, không gây scandal đấy, cũng quan tâm đến chăm sóc với người dân, đến cuộc sống mọi người, thì chúng ta có thể có branding cho cuộc hợp tác như thế. Và tất cả cái đấy chúng tôi đều giải quyết trên mobile. Thì về công nghệ thì chúng tôi có thể nêu ra những công nghệ như sau. Thứ nhất là công nghệ USSD. Ngoài SMS chúng ta biết rồi, công nghệ USSD là như này, tức là tôi rất tiếc là cái này nó hơi mờ, nhưng mà tức là khách hàng chỉ nhắn sao 12, không phải nhắn mà gọi điện đến sao 1, 2, 3 thăng hay là một cái code ở đấy chúng ta hợp tác với nhau, thì lập tức nó sẽ hiện ra một cái menu, cái hình số 2 là menu đấy, và khách hàng chỉ bấm 1, 2, 3, 4 hoặc là nhập text yes, no, hay là nhập những câu hỏi trả lời, và câu hỏi nó cứ trả đi trả lại như thế liên tục. Thì hiện nay tôi cũng biết là bên Unilever cũng đang có chương trình như thế và muốn hợp tác với chúng tôi đấy, nhưng mà đấy là một công ty Unilever ở nước ngoài đưa sang hay sao đấy. Thì tức là sau đấy thì chúng ta biết được là chi phí, tôi biết được là vừa là survey, vừa là khảo sát, vừa là bán hàng. Thực ra trên này chúng tôi có một kịch bản demo cho bán bảo hiểm, như tôi vừa nói, tức là chăm sóc xe máy là xong rồi xem xe bạn đời cũ hay đời mới, là sau đấy bắt đầu với tư vấn bán bảo hiểm, nhưng mà rất tiếc là chúng tôi không kết nối được với máy chiếu. Thì nếu mà chúng ta có thể gặp nhau riêng, tôi sẽ demo phần đấy. Đấy, như vậy là USD này là hoàn toàn là tương tác, là gì? Tương tác nhiều lần đấy, và đơn giản. Thứ hai là chi phí rất rẻ, bởi vì mỗi lần như thế là đối với khách hàng là mất 500 đồng. Thì nay chúng tôi không lấy cái tiền gì nữa và chỉ lấy tiền người cung cấp. Khách hàng không cần phải download, dùng trên mọi loại máy, hết tiền vẫn dùng được và không còn tốn pin. Đấy, những công nghệ đấy là rất phù hợp với người Việt Nam, vì vừa rẻ và tiện dụng và dùng tất cả mọi nơi. Công nghệ thứ hai mà chúng tôi mang đến là như thế này. Khi marketing chúng ta quan trọng nhất là thế nào để biết được số điện thoại khách hàng. Thì chúng tôi có một công nghệ là trên những cái web push hoặc là trên SMS có web, hoặc là trên những app chúng tôi có những cái link mà chỉ có nhà mạng mới có được. Khi khách hàng click vào trên đấy chúng tôi biết được số điện thoại khách hàng, và khách hàng như vậy là chúng ta có thể dễ dàng cho khách hàng đăng ký vào cái dịch vụ của mình. Nếu mà chúng ta dịch vụ đấy là một cái chiến dịch hấp dẫn và khách hàng có thể đăng ký được. Đấy, như trên chúng tôi demo một cái dịch vụ iMusic để có thể đăng ký được như thế. Cái ý thứ ba là chúng tôi có những công nghệ để chuyển từ web sang app rất nhanh, thì tôi nghĩ cái này tất cả các anh chị có làm được. Thứ tư là tôi có thể hỗ trợ, tức là trên cùng một kịch bản. Cái phần internet các anh chị có thể làm, nhưng mà Viettel có thể hỗ trợ những giao diện như là SMS, như là USSD hoặc là call center, chúng tôi có thể hỗ trợ giao diện để cùng làm, và chúng tôi có thể cung cấp những giá tốt nhất cho SMS, USSD, thậm chí luôn là tức là ví dụ có những kịch bản là các anh chị muốn survey xong thì muốn tặng khách hàng khoảng cỡ chừng là 2.000 hay 5.000 thì Viettel có thể bán lại những cái giá gọi là chúng tôi gọi là top up 2G, 3G để phút gọi giá rẻ để chúng ta thưởng cho khách hàng. Chứ thay vì là chúng ta phải đi gặp họ để trả 2.000, 3.000 thì làm sao mà gặp được, thì Viettel có thể bán cái đấy và chúng ta top up thẳng vào cái máy của khách hàng luôn. Cái số 6 là cái rất là quan trọng mà anh bạn tôi vừa trình bày, tức là đáng nhẽ là máy smartphone là phải bật lên phải biết được định vị. Thì Viettel dựa vào công nghệ là chạm bằng trạm phát sóng, chúng tôi có thể biết được khách hàng đang ở vị trí nào. Đấy, bởi vì là mỗi một cái máy là sẽ phải nối vào một cái trạm phát sóng nào đấy, và chúng tôi đang nối được. Và chúng tôi biết được là nhà họ ở đâu này, chúng tôi biết được là văn phòng họ ở đâu, bởi vì đây là nhà nghĩa là ban đêm không phải ở đấy thì tôi định vị được ban đêm đấy, văn phòng là trên đường di chuyển, tôi biết được hết tất cả cái đấy. Thì đấy là công nghệ của nhà mạng và chúng ta có thể khai thác cho việc kinh doanh được. Chúng ta có thể khai thác được cơ sở dữ liệu. Ví dụ như là Viettel chúng tôi biết rất nhiều cơ sở dữ liệu, như là học sinh đang học ở trường học nào, cấp 1, cấp 2, cấp 3 chúng tôi biết hết, bởi vì là họ đang nhận SMS parent, tức là những cái tin nhắn dành cho bố mẹ. Chúng tôi có thể biết được ai là ngư dân, ai là cha mẹ, thậm chí tôi biết luôn là ai đang dùng Facebook hay là Gmail để target marketing theo hướng như thế. Đấy, thì đấy là những cái cơ sở dữ liệu chúng ta có thể hợp tác khai thác và là chúng ta chăm sóc khách hàng chứ không phải là để bán những cơ sở dữ liệu đấy. Vừa rồi tôi cũng đã kể kịch bản, tức là chúng ta có thể dùng USD cho những kịch bản cần tương tác, ví dụ là chăm sóc khách hàng trung thành này, như là tôi nói là hỏi đi hỏi lại những câu người ta có cần hay không, và sau đấy cuối cùng là khảo sát, hoặc là lựa chọn mua sắm, hoặc là nói chung là những cái kịch bản nào cũng cần phải hỏi đi hỏi lại thì USD là rất hiệu quả vì nó rẻ và nó đơn giản. Chúng ta có thể nhìn số điện thoại khách hàng, như ví dụ chúng tôi đã có một dịch vụ như là chúng tôi nhắn thông tin đến, sau đấy dưới đó có một web link, khách hàng chỉ click vào cái link đấy thôi, đấy thì có thể tham gia cái chương trình marketing cùng với cả Unilever, cùng với nhãn hàng nếu mà họ thích, bởi vì chúng ta biết được số điện thoại. Chúng tôi có thể dùng những cái tin nhắn này để nhắc việc hàng ngày như cái chương trình mẹ và bé, đấy, bằng SMS brand name. Và tôi có một công nghệ, tức là SMS chắc chắn là người ta bỏ, nhưng mà USD á, nó là công nghệ của nhà mạng, thì khi nó gửi đến á, là nó trùm lên trên tất cả, giống như là chúng ta đang chơi game, một cuộc gọi đến thì lập tức là cái calling đấy nó hiện lên trên cùng luôn, và chắc chắn người ta phải đọc. Và chúng tôi có thể làm cái công nghệ đấy để cho những cái việc chăm sóc khách hàng marketing. Tôi lặp lại là những cái này không phải để bán mà để cung cấp vào một cái ngữ cảnh phục vụ khách hàng của mình. Đấy. Chúng tôi có thể định vị khách hàng, tại vì trong thương mại điện tử quan trọng nhất là khách hàng ở đâu để chúng ta cung cấp. Đấy, và chúng tôi có thể làm những kịch bản như thế, và tặng thưởng khách hàng gọi giá rẻ. Thế thì chúng tôi có thể đây là những công nghệ chúng tôi có thể giúp các bạn thu phí, ví dụ như là như tôi nói là những cái thẻ cào thì tôi nói, nhưng mà ví dụ như là số 5 rất là quan trọng, tức là hiện nay như tôi đang bán bảo hiểm thì khách hàng có thể là ngoài cái việc là trừ thẳng vào tài khoản di động, khách hàng của chúng tôi hiện nay có khoảng 2 triệu thuê bao Bank Plus, đấy, để có thể thanh toán được. Các bạn có thể nhấn là sao 123 thăng hay là sao 966 thăng để mua bảo hiểm, nếu mà bạn nào Viettel có thể là mua bảo hiểm từ cái số điện thoại đấy hiện nay. Và chúng tôi cung cấp rất nhiều dịch vụ khác. Thì thời gian nó có hạn nên tôi chỉ những kịch bản trong quá trình trình bày tôi cũng đã trình bày là chúng tôi đã thu tiền đây. Các bạn có thể thử là sao 966 thăng để mua bảo hiểm cho chính mình. Bây giờ chúng tôi đang có kịch bản như thế. Cũng có một kịch bản số 4 là chúng ta có thể thu deposit trước một cái lượng tiền nào đấy, để chúng ta thu trước một lượng deposit tiền nào đấy để chúng ta sau đấy chúng ta đến thu tiền, chúng ta giao hàng và thu tiền. Chúng tôi còn một số kịch bản nữa, ví dụ là chúng tôi có thể hợp tác với các bạn đến giao hàng tại những địa phương mà người Viettel đang ở đấy. Đấy, và chúng tôi có thể là cùng hợp tác, như tôi nói là hợp tác với thương hiệu Viettel để trong một số chương trình marketing, bởi vì là thời lượng chương trình đã có hạn. Thì tôi chỉ muốn nói là tức là Viettel hiện nay đang nói theo cách của bạn, tức là của người cung cấp. Thì nếu mà chúng ta hợp tác với nhau thì chúng ta sẽ nói, chúng tôi của các bạn sẽ nói theo cách của chúng ta để chúng ta cùng hợp tác kinh doanh trong lĩnh vực marketing.
First of all, by thanking Jessica from MMA Vietnam and Rohit from the MMA APAC for putting together this wonderful event. We're very honored to be here today. So, my name is Daphne. I'm from the company Out There Media. Out There Media is a mobile advertising company headquartered in Austria and Europe, with our regional headquarters in Singapore and activities all over ASEAN. I have good news for you. I'll make it quick. I know everybody's eager to have some coffee in the coffee break. So, mobile advertising, Out There Media, what is it we do exactly? We align the telcos, Huey and we align with the advertising industry. I'll jump right into the ecosystem. Let's have a look on how this works. On the right-hand side of the equation, we have the consumer. The consumer is the most important person in this entire ecosystem, right? And the consumer wants to receive info he or she cares about. Now, every consumer in every market is connected to at least one telco. In many markets, 2 telcos or 3 telcos. Here we have some telcos we work with. It's Maxis in Malaysia, it's Digi in Malaysia, it's Globe in the Philippines, it's XL in Indonesia, and there are many more. On the other side of the equation, we have the advertising industry. So that's brands and agencies, an ever-growing number of SMEs who want to connect with the consumer. Everybody wants to FaceTime with the consumer. Now, how do they get the right message to the right consumer at the right time? This is exactly when we come in with our Movax technology. We connect the advertising world with the telco world. And what we also do, and this is very important, and it refers to what Roy, you were discussing before about the opt-in and the permission. So we obtain opt-ins from the consumers. We literally go out to the entire market and we say, hey, do you want to receive stuff, interesting stuff, great stuff, directly on a mobile phone, completely free of charge? And people say, yes, I want that, as long as it's relevant. Now, how do we make sure that what we deliver to the consumer is relevant? It's the power of targeting. Now, with the opt-in, the consumer gives us data, and most importantly, he gives us the consent to use these data. We combine these data with the data we have in our platform from the telcos. So that might be things like roaming behavior, that's interesting for the travel industry. Might be things like ARPU. ARPU is average revenue per user. How much do the consumers spend on the mobile phone bills? How often do they recharge? And so on. And that we combine with the metadata we have. So what's the behavior? What's the lifestyle? What is the interest? And that gives us an ever-growing dynamic profile of the consumers. And using this, we can make sure that we deliver the right message to the right person at the right time. So I know this is a logo slide. Everybody hates logo slides. Just a really quick one. So we have some of our selected customers, with Unilever and Procter being our largest customers across the region. Of course, we have many, many more customers across all industries. We work with a lot of telcos and telco groups, and we're now also entering Vietnam. I would like to also show you a real-time location-based campaign we did in Europe. It's real-time location-based via cell triangulation. Now, who knows what cell triangulation is? All right, who does not know what cell triangulation is? Okay, so it allows us, it's similar to GPS. So you can pinpoint the exact position of a consumer, of a mobile phone, using not the satellites like GPS, but using the cell towers, the infrastructure of the carriers. Now the difference here is that the cell triangulation, the way we do it, we can actually reach all phones. We can reach smartphones, we can reach feature phones, we can reach legacy phones, we can offer the entire audience in a market to our advertising consumers. So the case study I want to talk about is something we did in the Czech Republic in Europe. The situation was the following. Paul is similar to Starbucks. It's a coffee shop and it's a bakery. And a new Paul shop opened in Prague in the Czech Republic. Now nobody knew that shop. It was always empty. So we went to the manager and we said, you know what? We can fill up your shop within a few minutes. And he said, no way. And we said, well, we're going to prove you wrong and we're going to show you that we can do it by using mobile advertising and real-time location-based advertising via cell triangulation. I'm going to quickly show you the video, please.
Ma chambre a la forme d'une cage. Le soleil passe son bras par là.
So this is our platform where we put the geolocation, the campaign setup. People within a radius of 1 kilometer products, they would get a message to come to Paul and get a free croissant with their coffee. And you can see that the shop was empty at the
This showcase that we should do
beginning,
today
build up.
with other media here in Prague proves the power of location-based services in mobile advertising. By capturing people, sending them the right message at the right time, exactly when it's appropriate, the power that we give to advertisers is actually unique. Today, we're actually showing here in Paul Bakery in Andel, in Prague, that it's working. Look at this lady here. Can I see your message? Thank you. She got this message while she was within a 1 kilometer radius of this area, and she came, and in a few minutes she will get a free croissant and a free coffee from Paul Bakery here in Andel. So this exactly shows that if you have the right customer at the right place, at the right time, and you give them the right message, everyone wins.
So people keep coming and coming and coming. We did an exit poll. Please look at the KPIs. 5.6% came to redeem the offer. The proximity played a big, big role. Now, 43% of the people who came purchased other products while they were in the shop. And this is what it cost. 260 euros it would have cost, or it could have cost to Paul. So 1 euro is approximately 1.3 US dollars. And here we can see how many consumers can you reach with 1,000 euros, which is $1,300. 25,000 on mobile, and on TV it's 180. Now what are the ingredients? Of course, the store, once you reach regions. It's our platform with location-based advertising, and often it's audience where you have the permission to really deliver messages and other mediums. So what are the key conclusions here? The key conclusions is, if mobile data, such as real-time location, right, are used for the right purpose and added value, really adding value because it's relevant, people were within the proximity of that shop, and enable the business community to reach the relevant audiences, then it's a win-win-win for all parties involved. Well, that's basically it. I hope I was on time. Thank you very much for your attention. Please come and see us. We have a stand outside. We are happy to explore business opportunities and partnerships here in Vietnam. We'd be very happy to enter into discussion with you. Thank you very much for your attention.
So, thank you, Christian, Bui, and Daphne, for your thoughts on location and the power of location-based advertising, and how that can create a very personalized message, and that's something that I've been talking about since morning. I do want to point out, in the morning, I did make a comment about that with VSE Group Holding Companies as the largest local agency, and there were people outside who were media especially asking me, why are we saying? So it's the largest local agency in Vietnam, not the largest agency per se. So with that, we will now get into a coffee break, 15-20 minutes coffee break. We would request you to please have your savories, have your coffee, come back in, and we'll start with the next part of the session at about 11:40. Thank you.